terms you need to know to master the skill. These 10 terms are the foundation of effective project management.
The team members are not able to speak the same language what the project manager understand and what the project manager speaks, right? But with these essential terms, you can keep your projects on track. And
Like it's also a critical communication tool, right? Whenever someone needs to understand what the project is about, the charter provides a concise overview of its purpose and goals.
Make the difference between project success and failure. So risk management is the kind of wall between your success and failure of the project.
So the task interdependency also, like, that's a pretty visual way to show that.
Yeah. And
hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tech Samvad, all tech enthusiasts and future project management pros. We go into a new episode of Tech Samvad today. Now, I have a question for you. Like, ever found yourself drowning in project chaos, missed deadlines, confused team members, or a budget that's spiraling out of control? Well, you're not alone there. Like, whether you are leading a small team or managing a multi-million-dollar project, it all boils down to one thing, which is mastering the right terms and tools to keep everything running smoothly. So there's another thing, like, I want to ask you, like, if you have you felt like you are speaking a different language from your project team? In the world of project management, like, miscommunication can be like the silent killer of even the most promising initiatives. So today we are diving deep into project management, specifically the essential terms you need to know to master the skill. These 10 terms are the foundation of effective project management techniques that we need to employ. So let's explore the 10 essential terms that can make or break your projects. Whether you are a seasoned project manager or just starting out, understanding these key concepts is very crucial for success. So today we are breaking down the 10 essential terms, and that will not only keep you on track, but could be the difference between your project's success and failure. Let's like scope creep, budget overruns, consider them from history after this episode, and we'll also talk about that. But we just want to tell you about how this can be done, and using our like nearly 30 years of experience in this field. So hopefully you'll gain a lot of insight from this.
okay, so today we are going to dive deep into project management, specifically the essential terms you need to know to master this skill, right? And these 10 terms are the foundation of effective project management. And I've seen to many times like projects going off of the simply because the team members are not able to speak the same language what the project manager understand and what the project manager speaks, right? But with these essential terms, you can keep your projects on track and make sure everyone is aligned also. So effective project management is all about being on top of the project or top of the game, whatever you want to say. And that means knowing the right lingo to get the job done. And in today's fast-paced world of project management, staying ahead of the curve requires a solid grasp of essential terms that can make or break your project success. So this is very critical.
Yes, Alan, and miscommunication is a silent killer of projects, right? And it's often due to the lack of clarity around key concepts. So when team members are unsure of what's expected of them, it can lead to delays, scope creep, and ultimately project failure, right? Nobody wants that. And I've seen it happen so many times and time again, right? A project starts off strong, but slowly loses steam. And as stakeholders and team members struggle to align their efforts, it's really frustrating. It's costly and it's completely avoidable in that sense. So let's jump into it, and we have got these 10 terms to cover, and we'll explain how each one can save your project from failure. So here's the first one, baseline. This is more than just your starting point. It's a snapshot of your project's original plan in terms of scope, schedule, and cost. So it is a very important thing which is often neglected that.
Right. And once the baseline is established, then any changes to the project can be compared against the original plan or original baseline. So, for instance, if your project is delayed by 2 weeks, you can see how far off you are by measuring against the baseline. So, baseline is very important, and it helps us to stay aware of how deviation are impacting on our project schedule, project's timeline, or anything about them.
And it's not just about for the project team, right? But for even the stakeholders, they too need to understand the baseline so that when changes are proposed, everyone knows the impact it will have on timelines, costs, or deliverables for that matter.
Right. So, Pramesh, we discussed about the baseline here. Let's focus on the second important term, which is called scope, right? So, scope is crucial. Think of it as the boundaries of our project. It defines what will be done, and just as importantly, what will not be done. So, this both it's very critical to know what we need to do and what we need not to do. Both. And it is crucial to define the scope clearly to avoid any scope creep. And scope creep occurs when a project requirements expand beyond the original plan.
Yeah, exactly, Shadin. Like the scope includes all the work required to deliver the projects or products or service and for that matter, right? So if something isn't in the scope, it shouldn't be worked on unless officially added through change control process.
Right.
So this actually helps avoid scope creep, which is when uncontrolled changes sneak into the project and cause chaos. And that happens so regularly. And that can lead to delays, budget overruns, and even project failures for that matter, which nobody wants. So it's why like having a well-defined scope is so important that way.
Yeah, definitely. And well-defined scope ensures that the team is aligned with the client or stakeholders on the defined deliverables, right? And it sets a clear expectations also. And we need to remember one thing, any changes in the scope often require adjustment to the budget and the timeline. And that's why it's very crucial to manage scope actively. So scope plan management is very important.
So let's talk about another term, important term, Shalin, like the work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure is essentially the blueprint of the projects, right? So it's a hierarchical breakdown of the work into smaller manageable pieces. So this is a visual representation, if I may say so, of the projects. And breaking it down into smaller manageable components is the key here. We need to make sure that we are able to break it down to the right minimum level. Don't go to a very micro level that your plan is out of place, but you need to have the right places. WBS in there. And the WBS is also incredibly useful for that matter, Shalin, for planning and estimating projects, resources, and overall timelines, right? So it helps ensure nothing falls through the cracks essentially.
Yeah, Pravesh, and this WBS help us to organize everything from major deliverables to the individual tasks also, right? So by breaking the project down into smaller parts, it becomes easier to assign responsibilities, estimate timeline, estimate cost, everything. And it basically enables the project managers to define the task and will enable them to track the progress also efficiently.
Actually, what's most important is that every element of WBS has to contribute to the final deliverable. It's like building a car. You break down the process into parts like the engine, chassis, wheels, and so on. But each part is still necessary to create the finished car.
So, okay, Pramesh, so let's discuss another important aspect of this term. One of the term is earned value management, which we call EVM, right? So basically, earned value management is a powerful technique, and it's all about tracking the project's progress by comparing the planned work against the actual work done and the money spent, right? So
yeah, exactly, Shalim. EVM answers three important questions, right? Are we on time? Are we within budget? Are we getting the work done as planned? So these are very important metrics for calculating the metrics like cost performance index, which we call SPI, and the schedule performance index, which is the SPI. So you get a clear picture of and a view of whether you are on track, on budget, and things like that.
yeah, and I can quote some example here from it. If you are halfway through the project timeline, but have only completed 30% of the work. It happens a lot. That's why I'm using this example here for our viewers. So that's a warning sign, basically, right? And then you need to quickly do the EVM, and EVM is going to help you identify what are these variances are, right? And so you can quickly adjust before it becomes too late, right? So adjustment can mean, first of all, your communication part. Then we have a buy-in from stakeholders to adjust schedule or add more resources to come back on track. So all those things will happen.
So Shali, let's talk about another important thing, which is often overlooked. which is our project charter. So the project charter is like your project's official birth certificate, right? So it formally authorizes the projects and gives you the mandate to use resources. So this is a document that formally authorizes the project and outlines its objective, scope, and stakeholders for that matter. And people actually don't take that much seriously, like the project charter that much seriously, I guess.
Yeah, that's the one of the flaw of our project management. People don't follow the proper processes, right? Even they don't follow.
Yeah.
But let's focus on project charter here. I mean, it includes. See, what is project charter? It's not a big rocket science. It's just a process, right? So let me explain. So project charter includes a project's objective, your key stakeholders, what is your scope, and high level budget and timeline information. So this charter is the foundation upon which the project is built. So charter is very important. It should be approved by your key stakeholders, your senior management, and project sponsor. Mandatory here is your project sponsor need to approve your project.
And Shally, like it's also a critical communication tool, right?
Mhm.
Whenever someone needs to understand what the project is about, the charter provides a concise overview of its purpose and goals. So, Shally, like the project charter serves as a reference point throughout the project lifecycle that way. So, it helps ensure everyone is on the same page from the start till the end. So that way, like it's a very important tool, Shalin. Like
Definitely, Pramesh. So I think we discussed and explained well the project charter part. So let's move on to our sixth important term, which is stakeholder management, Pramesh. So basically, what is the stakeholder management? So as name self explains, so stakeholder management involves identifying everyone who is affected by the project, from the project team to customer or end client to sponsor and even regulators also, right? Some regulatory body where you guys are working. It's all about identifying the right stakeholders, keeping them informed for every step so that they are happy and satisfied.
yes, and managing the expectations is key here, right? So some stakeholders may have conflicting interests, and we've seen that multiple times. So as a project manager, you need to balance these and ensure that everyone's concerns are addressed. You're not specifically only targeting certain stakeholders. You need to take care of everyone. So these are individuals or groups who have an interest in or are affected by the project, right? It's like even the developers are stakeholders, even the customers are stakeholders. So it's not just like your customer who is a stakeholder here. So stakeholder management is very crucial. It involve like identifying, engaging, and communicating with all the relevant parties throughout the project lifecycle. That way.
Yeah, and see, the best way to manage a stakeholder is through regular communication, Ramesh. So your status updates, your meetings, and even some informal check-ins also, right? So basically, what it does, proper communication, it prevents surprises and help to maintain good relationship, which are crucial for our project success.
Yeah, and that's a valid point. So let's talk about the seventh important term, Shailin, which is risk management. And again, this is something that not a lot of program managers and project managers actually take a liking to or need to understand, like they understand it fully. So risk management is about being proactive rather than reactive. So it's the process of identifying potential risks to your projects and developing strategies to deal with them before they become problems. So this involves like identifying, accessing, and controlling potential issues that could impact the project, and especially like your quantitative and qualitative risks. So both are different, and we need to understand that qualitative risks are there, which we need to take care of, and then quantitative risks, which we can quantify and then mitigate those risks as such.
Yeah, definitely, Pramesh. And risk can be anything from budget or overruns to technical failures also, right? Or even changes in some unforeseen circumstances like market conditions, right? Those are also risks. So once you identify risk, you need to assess impact associated with by that risk and likelihood and what is the probability that the risk is going to happen, right? Which is called likelihood, and then decide how to handle that. How to handle is your mitigation plan. So whether you can be by avoiding or by mitigating or by transferring or by accepting. Right? There can be any scenario. So this is called basically effective risk management and can make the difference between project success and failure. So risk management is the kind of wall between your success and failure of the project, right? It is about being proactive rather than reactive. So that's the key
And
message
here,
here.
got an important point, Shali, like accepting is also a very important
Hmm.
mechanism. So we actually sometimes, like when we talk about risk management, people think like, okay, we need to mitigate it. Sometimes accepting the risk may be actually cheaper to do, because sometimes, like, having the risk happen is cheaper than actually trying to mitigate that. So that is also a very important technique in risk management that you brought up. Now, having a risk management plan in place not only helps you handle issues, but also gives stakeholders confidence that you are prepared for whatever might come up, right?
Definitely, Ramesh. And I think we covered a lot about risk management. So let's move on to our eighth important point, which is called milestones, right?
Mhm.
So, what are the milestones? So, milestones are basically the key checkpoints in our project. So, they signify the completion of a major phase or deliverables, right? So, that's a kind of indicator. So, milestones are significant points or events in a project basically, and they are like checkpoints that helps you to track progress and celebrate achievement along the way.
They act as markers that like let you know you're on track, right? For instance, like completing the design phase or delivering the first prototype would be considered milestones. Remember, like milestones don't have like a time frame to do. They occur on a specific time. Like a milestone would be like they don't have a duration as such. That is what I'm trying to tell you.
Right. So they are great for both motivating the team and keeping stakeholders in the loop. Plus, and hitting milestone on time, which is more critical here. Well, hitting milestone on time is often kind of requirement for a project or for releasing project funds or approving the next phase. Right? All those are the critical points here.
Yeah, so you talked about critical. So let's talk about the ninth point, which is the critical method, the critical path method.
Path method. Okay.
So critical path method helps you identify the longest sequence of tasks that must be completed for the project to finish on time. So any delay in these tasks will directly delay the project, right? So this refers to the sequence of tasks that determine the minimum time needed to complete the project. So understanding the critical path is crucial for managing deadlines and allocating resources effectively, if that matter. It helps you focus on tasks that directly like impact the project timelines, and that way like they are a very critical means for you to actually deliver the project.
Yeah, Pramesh, and it's essential for scheduling because once you know the critical path, right? So you can focus on your efforts associated to the critical path, and most importantly you ensure that it and that our critical path stay on track also, right? So tasks outside the critical path have some flexibility, which we call as a float.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great way to ensure that time management is like efficient, right? So you can easily like identify which tasks have room for delay and which ones need immediate attention. You can actually, it helps in prioritization that way.
Yeah, definitely. Pramesh, let's talk about now our 10th important point, which we call as a Gantt chart. It's a very popular term, right? Many times I feel our new project managers, budding project managers don't understand it properly. So finally, this Gantt chart, this is what is this all about? It's a visual tool that shows the project timeline that includes task, duration, and dependency.
That way, like Shalin, it's a very useful tool, right, for tracking our progress. That happens in real time. So you can see like what tasks are being worked on, which ones are being completed, and what's coming up next, which is the most important thing. And it's also great for showing how tasks depend on each other. So the task interdependency also like that's a very pretty visual way to show that.
Yeah, and the good part is, Pramesh, nowadays the almost every project management tool which we use, they have this Gantt chart capability. Gantt chart those tools generate for us, right? So it becomes nowadays easy. So it's easy to visualize the whole project at a glance. Right? And if we need to deep dive on a particular area or particular target, you can expand it, then you can see that the whole details also. So they are especially helpful in communicating project status to the stakeholders. Let's say you are project manager, suddenly a particular stakeholder is asking a detailed status about some focus activity. You can refer your Gantt chart and look at it quickly and provide the status.
That is true. That is very true. Like,
Yeah. So basically, we discuss all about these 10 essential project management terms, which every project manager should know thoroughly.
so basically, Shalin, like by mastering these, you can actually avoid common pitfalls like miscommunication, right? When we started, nobody told us about that. We just learned the hard way. It would have been so good if like somebody could have actually told us and guided us in this way, right? So delays and budgets overruns are like pretty common if you don't do that. And your projects will run more smoothly and your stakeholders will be a lot happier if you actually follow these and master them. So some extra terms to throw in as a bonus like we have is the agile project management. So this is an iterative approach that focuses on flexibility and continuous improvement. So which is like very common these days, Shalin. So that's why like we need to also emphasize it.
Yeah, it's very popular in nowadays, specifically in we talk about software development part, right? So, but its principle can be applied to various industries also, Pramesh, right? So it emphasizes adaptability and customer satisfaction.
Yeah, and the other term, like bonus term, I would say is very important that way is the key performance indicators, which we say KPIs. So these are like measurable values that demonstrate how effectively a project is achieving its objectives.
Yeah, very important term. So KPI help you to track progress and make data-driven decisions, right? And these KPI are very essential for keeping the project on track and aligned with business goals.
So essentially, these 10 terms with these bonus two that we gave you, these are just the tip of the iceberg that way when it comes to project management terminology. But these are the essential ones you need to know to start with. And hopefully, like over the period of time, we can go more details for the other ones also. But I think as a start, this will be a good thing for you. But mastering these will give you, or like mastering these will also give you a solid foundation to build upon, right? And remember, like effective communication is key in project management. Give the news upfront, give it as soon as possible, and don't delay. So understanding and using these terms correctly can also like help you communicate more clearly with your team and the various stakeholders.
Exactly, Pramesh, and I would say it's all about being prepared, staying organized, and keeping everyone informed, or you can say keeping everyone in the loop. So this is all about project management, the key terms. I want to thank you all for coming into Tech Samvad, and please don't forget to subscribe for more tips and insights on how to manage project efficiently and how to manage your project like a professional project manager.
Yeah, being organized is a great point, Shalin. Like clear communication can prevent misunderstandings that way, right? So let's that way, like it is very important that we do that. And remember, like effective communication is key. Understanding these terms is a great start for you.
Definitely, Pramesh, and we hope the episode has been helpful to all our listeners. And whether you are managing a small team project or large scale project, these terms definitely is going to be very critical terms. And if you found this episode helpful, useful, please don't forget to like our channel and subscribe our channel, and please share your comments with us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in to Tech Samvad. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep innovating, and keep doing Tech Samvad. So see you next time. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.